Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What a day. What a day. Craziness always. Man, I was sitting there thinking to myself, think about this week that we've got coming up, right? So they announced the Oscars today. We'll touch on that in a little bit. You've got Iowa tomorrow night. We're 21 days away from the caucus, but you have the final debate. Impeachment, as far as delivering the articles to the Senate, will probably happen in the next 72 hours, most likely Wednesday, Thursday. Chances are next week we'll start our trial. And with all of that going on, we're still talking about, yes, Soleimani.
I think it's been totally consistent. But here's what's been consistent. We killed Soleimani, the number one terrorist in the world by every account. Bad person, killed a lot of Americans, killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is arguing that. It was how it was done that some people are questioning, and it's not just everybody on the left. There are people on the right that are questioning him. I will say that the media and the Democrats went a little crazy at first, and he talks about their defending.
We killed Soleimani, the number one terrorist in the world by every account. Bad person, killed a lot of Americans, killed a lot of people.
Yes. How much, though, did he kill? Well, 600 plus, according to some Americans. 600,000, according to the congressperson I talked to, who's seen some of the information. But that congressperson, who happens to be on the right, is not happy with the intelligence that they received and how it was kind of felt like it was just kind of pushed through, and you guys just deal with it. It is okay to question leaders. It is absolutely 100% okay to question the leaders of the country. And guess what? You should question your leaders the most. You should want the real answers. Like, it's fair to ask. Over the weekend, people are talking about it. How many of these embassies potentially were threatened?
I can reveal that I believe it would have been 4 embassies, and I think that probably Baghdad already started.
Is it possible? Absolutely. But now he's just like, well, hold on a second. 4, but. Does it matter? Because he's a bad dude. No, it does matter, because that's not who we are. We do things in a better way. And that absolutely does matter. I'm glad we got this guy. And is it a win for the president at this moment in time? It absolutely is. If the trade-off was we killed a really bad guy who wanted to do really bad things, not to us, not just only to us, but to other countries in that region, who was influential outside of maybe 1 or 2 other people, nobody had more influence than this guy. And the potential of him leading one day Iran was real. If the trade-off is we got him and in return we got 12 ballistic missiles, of which 4 didn't work and nobody was hurt, that's a fair trade-off. But the question's very real of how do we go about figuring this out? Right? Because it feels like it's a game that you guys better take us at our word. And no. We have questions, and I think it's fair to ask questions. And if you don't think it's fair to ask questions, you're fooling yourself. You may love Trump, but the reality is it's okay to ask a question, right? Republicans are doing it. Democrats will ask all kinds of questions. Don't take it from them, because the right would ask the same thing if it was Obama. We have every right to ask questions, and you should hold your party accountable. More so than the other party, because the other party in today's political world is going to play yes, we're going to hold you accountable on every single thing that you do. Even if it's nothing really wrong, we're going to try to hold you accountable for it. To the point where it's ridiculous, and we're looking for every single little thing. No. You should hold your leader that you voted in absolutely accountable. 110%. So we'll see what comes out of this. With all of that being said and done, guess what? Now it's time to start talking about impeachment in a more serious way. What's going to happen here in the next couple days? Apparently tomorrow they're going to start laying more and more things out when it comes to impeachment, because the first thing they need to do is what? They need to have managers of the articles that will then take them over to the Senate. Adam Schiff's out there doing his shifty things because, as we all know, he's full of Schiff.
What I am hoping is that the public pressure to have a fair trial will mean that these moderate Republican members of the Senate will insist on hearing from people like John Bolton and Mick Mulvaney and others.
I like the idea of a fair trial. Here's my issue. It didn't feel that way when you were at the head of everything. It didn't feel that way. It felt like, all right, there's 100% of something. The Democrats are going to control all 100%. We're going to give you 25% of stuff. We're going to control the other 75%. And by the way, I'm the person with the gavel, so I'm going to control everything. And whatever it is that I say will be the final word in that.
They wanted senators to pre-commit ourselves to not only judge the case that House Democrats are actually going to send over, but also to reopen the investigatory stage and maybe supplement Chairman Schiff's slapdash work.
What's that mean? They want a commitment from the Republicans and the Senate that you guys may want to do some more investigation. You guys may want to push a little bit more. You guys may want to do some other stuff in investigating this. You may. That's not going to happen. At the end of the day, Mitch McConnell, where you like him or not, is the guy that has, well, he's the one that has the final say. He's the one that controls everything. So at this point in time, he's going to be running the show. So that's just the way that's going to go. So Nancy could play the game that she's played, and I think I think Nancy was caught between a rock and a hard place. I don't know if she would have done this if it wasn't for so many in her party, and not if this was only the AOC wing, right? The uber progressive left. I think Nancy would have just said, no. But when you got Adam Schiff and you got several others that are seen as, stalwarts in the Democratic Party who've been around for a long time, who are pushing for this, she had no choice to do it. But at the same time, I think she's sitting there thinking to herself, all right, well, now we're going to have to do this. And I can't really force. I can bluff. And I'm bluffing against somebody who plays poker just as good as me, who knows exactly what the rules are. So I can only get out there and push a narrative and hoping that he eventually plays ball the way that we want him to.
Leader McConnell didn't budge on witnesses at all. He's not promising.
Well, I think that he will be accountable to the American people for that.
Is what Mitch McConnell thinks of that. Not of the American people, but the reality is he's running the show, right? And this is the thing we think that the American people will all come together and look at everything the same in history. That doesn't happen now. Look at us in the way we look at history today. We're going back, we're whitewashing it, we're taking stuff away. We're looking at history in a whole different way. Modern history of the present, is all they care about being judged as. And the way they look at it is, if you were to go against the president, you're going against your own party, and history will judge you at this moment. And Mitch lives in the here and now. Mitch lives in the here and now, and that's all Mitch cares about. So he ain't doing any of that stuff. And as we all know, they care about being reelected. They care about their fiefdom. That's what they care about. They do not care about how history will judge them, because the reality is they're not going to be around for that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. A lot of stuff to get to. We got some good stuff when it comes to the Oscars. Also, baseball news. Interesting baseball news. Big time interesting baseball news on what took place today. Oh, man. And if I am the NFL and I'm looking at how this whole thing was handled, I'm looking at the Patriots and saying, you guys got some issues. That will be interesting as well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. A lot of Oscar news. I was watching Joaquin Phoenix, and he was nominated today for Best Actor for Joker. But he was on with Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes, man. And it was just, he is so uncomfortable. Like, you wonder, like, okay, I do wonder, like, okay, what do you do for, like, what's your day like? And he couldn't even get through that. It's like, nobody cares. I don't want to talk about this. And not in a mean way. It's just like he thinks nobody cares. And it's hard to do an interview with somebody who just like, I don't really want to talk to you about this. Like, I don't want to talk to you about anything. And it's an odd thing, but he is, I think he's going to win the Academy Award. All right, Lightstream, kids. Man, you made it through the holidays. Holidays! Got through it all. It's a brand new year. You're thinking to yourself, I got high interest rate credit cards. I've used a ton of them over the holidays. Bills are starting to come. What should I do? Ease your mind. This is where Lightstream comes in. Pay off your credit card balances and save with credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. So you can roll multiple credit cards and payments into one payment. It's a low fixed rate, 5.95% APR with autopay. Much lower than the national average, which was about 20%. No prepayment penalty fees or application fees, origination fees. You get where I'm going. No fees. Easy to do application right from your phone. And now is your chance to save big. You're getting a special interest rate discount. But you got to do this. You got to go to lightstream.com/Benson. lightstream.com/Benson. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
So, we're talking about this off the air, but I think it needs to be brought up on air. Not the Gwyneth Paltrow thing, guys. By the way, Gwyneth Paltrow, just odd. That's all we need to say. Just totally odd. Just totally odd. But Yusaku Maezawa, billionaire, about $4 billion, right? First person that's going to be cruising on Elon Musk's Tesla in the sky is looking for a special woman for space and life, right? So he started a retail clothing company. He's got some good cash. How much? There is a YouTube video of him going to the bank because he just did a deal. And he updates his bank book like old style, and he's got $900 million cash. It's a lot of cash. But he's looking for a lady who wants to go through the training to go to space with him. All right? You got to be super positive, happy, you got to have a brain, right? You got to be hot. Let's be real, right? Yeah, you're worth $4 billion. We don't want somebody that's going to slow down space travel. That felt like a Richard. Can't get her in. Oh, my God, Chad. So bright and positive. You got to have some personality. You can be 20, but that's it. He didn't want any teenagers. And you have to be interested in travel, space travel. He's taken to the interwebs to find his love. He's offering over $9 million, right? He's been tweeting stuff. I mean, this dude he's an interesting cat. He's giving all kinds of money away on Twitter. And, if you see if you could, hey, anybody, you do this, so I'll give you this and that. I'll give you $1,000, whatever. Now, here's the thing. It's not a weirdo like normal weirdos where you like Japan has a real issue with a culture that's never dated, right? Because the older culture, it was all arranged marriages, and since then, you've seen the plummet in birth rates. The Japanese are a very closed society. There is no dating. They're struggling with a lot of these things. He's been married. He's got 3 kids. He's divorced, and he's dated a ton of models and super celebrities. But he wants somebody that's ready to do this. But Anthony brought up something really good. Let's say you go through this, right? But you're going to space, right? And you look over and there's Elon Musk, the guy you saw on Joe Rogan smoke weed, right? Now, I've been in Teslas, and I love them. They're awesome. But you have to ask yourself the question, you're going to space. Are you willing to do that? But it's not just for the space trip. He wants you for love and a whole 9 yards. But you got to be positive. And you got to have a brain. And you have to like space travel. So you have to be totally committed if you're going to apply to this. Big Falcon rocket is supposed to leave in 2023. We should get you on that, Phil. It's only 250 G's.
That's cheap. I'll take out a loan.
That's not bad, though. Like, when you hear about, like, who was the first dude, the commodity broker, who went up to the space station. He paid a ton of money. He didn't pay that. I mean, he paid like 10, 20 times that to go to the space station. I mean, you got it. Why not? But he couldn't bring anybody like, look, there's only one. This is it. You can't take a dozen people. It's one person. That's it. It's you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Producer Phil says to me today, Chad, you worry about the TSA? Listen to this, guys. 15-year-old girl with autism was found at the Orlando International Airport. Are you guys ready for this? She got through TSA. She got through pre-check. So she's 15. She's autistic. She has no ID. She has no ticket, but she did have a drink coupon. And she got through. Think of that next time you board a plane. The 15-year-old girl with no ticket, ID, and a drink coupon was able to outwit the TSA folk. She is fine. Everything is good. Again, the placebo effect. We see them. We think they're taking care of everything. Don't worry. It's a drink coupon. I'll be fine. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Iowa tomorrow night. They will debate. We touch on that because they're getting into a little bit of a fight. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Joker laughing all the way to the most Oscar nominations. The Batman villain's origin story picking up 11 nods, including Best Picture.
I heard you paint houses.
Tied for the second most with 10 apiece, it's Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, the World War I drama 1917, and Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. For a second year in a row, and for 9 out of the last 10 years, no women nominated in the Best Director category, though Greta Gerwig's Little Women did get a Best Picture nod, tied for the third most nominations with 6.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, Oscar nominations. Some of these movies I probably will see compared to usually when I don't see any of these movies. Let's take a look. Best Picture, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Parasite, 1917, Marriage Story, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Woman, and Ford versus Ferrari. Best Actress in Leading Role, Renee Zellweger in Judy, Charlize Theron in Bombshell, Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan in Little Women, and Cynthia Erivo in Harriet. Okay. Best Actor. Two Popes, Jonathan Pryce, Antonio Banderas, good to see him working, Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time, Adam Driver, Marriage Story, and Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker, which I think he will win. The Joker. Best Director, Martin Scorsese, The Irishman. Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time. Bong Joon-ho, Parasite. Sam Mendes, 1917, and Todd Phillips. This will be interesting because I think 1917 is going to win a lot of stuff. And Sam Mendes, if you see the way that the movie, it got the most nominations out of all. So it got, it got the second most. So Joker got 11. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with 10, Irishman with 10, and 1917 with 10. I will probably see all of those, and that's about it. I may see Ford versus Ferrari and Jojo Rabbit, but, I say I'll see stuff, but then I won't. But what's interesting about those is all of them are commercially pretty successful. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was big. The Irishman was on Netflix. It played in a few theaters, but it got rave reviews, and a ton of people watched it. If it was in the theaters, probably would have done all right. 1917, from its Golden Globe win, crushed this past weekend. And The Joker, largest R-rated movie ever as far as money haul. So that'll be interesting to see what takes place with. I want to see how this year they do things, right? Because they're going with nothing, and they're looking at Ricky Gervais saying, "Man, look at numbers weren't as bad as they've been in the past because Ricky kind of hammered us. Maybe do we dial it back a little, or do we go up hardcore?" That'll be interesting to see. See if Joaquin Phoenix, what he says. It's an odd bird, man. I watched that 60 Minutes thing with him and Anderson Cooper. He's just awkward. Guy's got immense talent. And they asked him, do you ever get nervous? Just every minute of every second on the set. He's like terrified. This is a human being. And it's just, but it's an interesting, they'll ask him a question. Anderson Cooper and him are walking like on the hill. It's like, what do you do for fun? He's like, I like to, because dude, I nobody cares. I'm like, you make me laugh. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Today, Major League Baseball came down hard on the Houston Astros. 2017 winners of Major League Baseball's World Series. Last year, they fell in 7 games in the World Series to the Washington Nationals. But their GM and their manager were both suspended for a year today. They were fined $5 million, and they lost their first and second round draft picks in the next 2 upcoming drafts. And their owner decided that he had had enough and fired them both on the same day.
With what came out in the report, they both had responsibilities, Jeff running the baseball operation and overseeing AJ and all of those people associated with that. And AJ on the bench and was aware. If you read the report, it's pretty clear. AJ didn't endorse it, and neither did Jeff. Neither one of them started this, but neither one of them did anything about it. And that's how we came to the conclusion.
And that right there is Jim Crane, who owns the Astros, who were popped for cheating. And here's the old saying in baseball is if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And the reality is they cheated in a different way. Guys on second base, everybody's looking for an edge, right? I don't care what the game is, right? You're looking for an edge. What's the edge here? What do I know about you? What can I pick up? Your advanced scouting, all of the stuff you send out there. Everybody's looking for edge. They took it to a whole new level with video and the whole 9 yards and spying. It's not like a guy on second, right, is picking up something that a guy does with his fastball. It's something completely different. And they paid the price today, big time, and the Red Sox may be paying the price as well.
I don't think it's a big number of people in the baseball operations that were engaged with that on a daily basis. So I don't think it's a house cleaning. I think if you want to talk about house cleaning, I don't think the manager and the general manager have gotten fired in the same day. So I think that's a pretty big house cleaning, and we'll work from there.
Yeah. Well, get ready for it. It's big money. You embarrassed him, and it's, and people are, look at right now. Look at the New England Patriots, right? So 2007, they got Spygate. They got popped for that. They got in ish trouble, right? Then you fast forward to this year, and they're popped again for filming of all teams, right? You weren't filming the Baltimore Ravens. You were filming the exact opposite of anybody worth a damn. You were filming the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're going to get popped. I wouldn't be surprised. Major League Baseball sitting here, and they're pushing something out here where they're coming down hard. How could you not if you're the NFL, right? And when do you wait and do it? And how big of a problem is this in baseball? Everybody's looking for an edge. Everybody is. Some people it's drugs. Everybody's looking for something, right? And again, the old adage is if you're not cheating, you're not trying in baseball.
I think there's a lot of information out there that this was a problem within baseball. Commissioner put out a warning in 2017. There was a couple teams fined. Listen, it's clear when you hear the guys talk that, they were doing, talking about what other teams did and this, that, and the other. I have no proof of any of that, and it's not my job to investigate that. The commissioner assured me that, every team and every allegation will be checked out, and he'll conduct the same investigation he conducted on us, and I'm focused on the Astros, and that's all I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, and that's because they're looking at the likes of the Red Sox and their manager, Alex Cora, and he was named in it as well, and how many people could be popped for this? Everybody could be looking for a job. And then what's going to happen? They're just going to go get hired somewhere else. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Tomorrow night, they're going to be doing Battle Royale. It's going to be very interesting to see how this thing plays out on the stage tomorrow night. Cory Booker dropped out today. He suspended his campaign because he was not very good at it. He just wasn't. I mean, I'm not joking with Cory. He just, for whatever reason, he never resonated. So tomorrow night, you're going to have 6 people, I think, on stage, really with 4 of them that have a chance. There's outsiders still out there, and Bloomberg being one of them.
Warren also going after former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who is skipping the state entirely, instead campaigning this weekend in Texas.
Hello, Austin.
Hello.
Warren calling on Bloomberg to release non-disclosure agreements from employees who settled with his company over hostile work environment complaints.
What is it that Michael Bloomberg has to hide?
Bloomberg will not be on the debate stage, and neither will Andrew Yang, who failed to qualify.
Yeah, Bloomberg's got the cash to spend the money, then let him spend it. Right? They're all upset because he's spending his own money. We should all be upset because they're spending our money. They're out there asking money for every single day. Every single day. Hey, can we have some money? So I got to do this stuff. Well, if you want to spend your own money, knock yourself out. If you don't think he has a chance, knock yourself out. Here's the thing. He's an American who's broke no laws, who's done nothing wrong, who's worked his way up from nothing and now has the means to do something. I think maybe it's okay that we listen to him. Right? Him being a billionaire or successful shouldn't disqualify him because he's running in a party that sees success in some cases, especially not so much the average Democrat, but the people, the upper, as some sort of evil. It's not. With all of that going on, you got a little battle between Sanders and Warren over something that was supposedly said behind the scenes and some stuff his staff apparently is saying.
I was disappointed to hear that Bernie is sending his volunteers out to trash me.
I don't know if that's true or not. Is that possible? I guess. I don't think he's doing it per se, but it's politics. It's ugly. And you have to be the nominee before you can be president. You have to. And Sanders has something that he's rocking with. Right now, you look at the polls. It's a 2-horse race. The other 2 aren't out of sight, but it's starting to feel like it's becoming an only 2-horse race. And he's got enthusiasm, he's got excitement, and he's got a ground game, and she's kind of leveled off, and she's slowly but surely just, don't hear anything about Biden. And this is a report that in 2018, behind closed doors, he told Elizabeth Warren, you can't win because you're a woman. That's why. You can't win. Nobody's going to vote for you, you're a woman. He's denied that. So is this just battle royale because you've got these two? I think she's starting to realize this isn't happening the way I thought it was. I'm starting to lose ground more so. And she's looking for think about this. If you're her, you may finish third or fourth in Iowa and third or fourth in New Hampshire, and you're not going to win. I mean, you see where it's going? I mean, yeah. So we'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Baseball, I mean, it kind of is funny that they cheat like that. At least that. Is it really like, well, it goes against the rule. In baseball has so many weird unwritten rules, right? Like you throw at me, or even if one gets away from you, then my guy's going to come out and throw at you. And if he doesn't throw at you, then we're going to get mad at him. And if you slid too hard here, it's just all these weird unwritten rules. And then they're all upset about, sign stealing, which has been going on forever. Not as technically advanced as probably this was, but still. Car Shield. I'm looking at cars. I'm thinking, I might get something new, newish for me. And I don't worry about it. I just don't worry about it. Why? I have Car Shield. It's amazing, right? 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free when my car's in the shop. Shop I choose. You can get the same thing. And it doesn't matter what it is, right? Your car's like uber advanced, right? Let's say it's got 8,000 or 10,000 miles on it. You bought it used, doesn't come with a warranty, and it's uber advanced. Got all this electronic stuff on it. They cover that. That's what the protection, their protection plans are about. Right? Let's say yours isn't that new. It's got 100,000 miles on it, but, you just want something to cover the biggies. They cover that. It's not if, but when it comes to cars. And right now, you can make sure you sleep well at night, knowing your car is protected. Whether your car's got 5,000 miles or 150,000 miles on it, your vehicle at some point in time will probably have some issues. So get covered today with Car Shield. Call 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson or visit carshield.com. That's carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. Carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here. Just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
A big victory for war movie 1917.
That is the German front line.
The World War I drama topped the box office with a bigger-than-expected opening weekend, an estimated $36.5 million. This after its big win for Best Drama at the Golden Globes a week ago. It knocked Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker out of the top spot for the first time. On the other end of the spectrum, what is that? The scary deep-sea thriller Underwater bombed just $7 million, not even in the top 5. The Tiffany Haddish comedy Like a Boss also disappointed with just $10 million, tied with the Michael B. Jordan death row drama Just Mercy.
Yeah, 1970 rocked it. 1970, I mean, the movie's got great feedback, plus it won an award, and it's got mass appeal. That's the other thing. A lot of times you see these Oscar movies, they don't have that mass appeal and let's be real. I mean, the fact is you can go make these art movies because you have other movies that essentially cover their losses. This isn't one of those. A unique movie, just looks riveting. And I was talking to producer Anthony, who went and saw it, and said, first of all, you get caught up in the one-shot thing because that's what this movie, they talk about the behind the scenes has got just as much of publicity as the movie itself and how they shot the film. And it's a one-shot take where we're going to shoot this thing, and it could be like a 10-minute take, and you get caught up in that. But the movie itself is just incredible. And, I mean, I've seen enough of it now. How'd you do that? Don't ask. But it's real. And you got to go see it in the big theater and the thunder in the hall. It's got mass appeal. Like the Joker had mass appeal. And I think the Joker, the largest, most profitable R-rated movie ever. Small budget, great actor. It's huge.
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Yeah, but with all the nominations today, not everybody was stoked. Some people were dissed.
Are you in?
Jennifer Lopez, not in. Many thought she'd get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Hustlers. She's received a lot of award season attention so far, but she couldn't grab the big one.
Glad to meet you.
His Irishman co-stars Al Pacino and Joe Pesci got Best Supporting Actor nominations, but Robert De Niro couldn't score a Best Actor nod. Awkwafina won a Golden Globe for The Farewell, but no Oscar nom. Frozen 2 is the highest-grossing animated film of all time, but no nomination for Best Animated Feature.
I'm working on a novel.
And Little Women scored 6 nominations, including Best Picture, but no Best Director nod for Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, so some people were left out. It's that way every single year in these things. And the Oscars are so white-ish, but not as white as the Democratic debate. Oh, Chad, you had to go and do that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, no matter where you are. Check out the chadshow.com. You know what we have there? Like stuff. You can get the podcast absolutely free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Check it out. We're doing some other stuff coming up soon on there. And you go to the Facebook page, which is the Chad Benson Show, and you can like us, follow along with us. We do videos on a daily basis there as well. Oh, my Lord. Royal families battling. You got the big debate tomorrow night. We're 21 days away from Iowa. Top of that, you got cheating scandal in baseball. The Iran thing is still out there. And, of course, let's not forget impeachment. And it's Monday. Crazy. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I've always said I would send them over, so there shouldn't be any mystery to that. What we did want, though, and we think we accomplished in the past few weeks, is that we wanted the public to see the need for witnesses with firsthand knowledge of what happened, documentation, which the president has prevented from coming to the Congress.
According to a new study, about 70% of people, 66% of people would like to see Bolton testify. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, because you know what? He's got every right to say, look, I've got presidential powers here, right? I've got my right to have conversations when it comes to certain things. And anybody that's in that position would probably do the same damn thing, right? They could say, oh, I wouldn't. No, everybody has their own way that they do things, right? But you do have the opportunity in that position. That's not illegal to do. Will they subpoena him?
We are considering whether to subpoena him in the House. If we're approaching this rationally, though, the senators will be the triers of fact. They should hear from the witness firsthand.
Here's my thing, though. When you want to talk about triers of fact, remember, you, being Adam Schiff, had the opportunity to make it fairer, and you didn't. They asked to have several people come and testify, and you said no to those requests. So what now? Just curious over these things. I think it's a fair question to ask. Don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to allow some people to come in. If they're just going to say, we're going to do it this way. My assumption is, based on Mitch McConnell, they're going to do it his way.
A fair trial is one that considers all the facts and gives the senators all the information they need to make an informed decision.
But here's the thing. One of the things Mitch McConnell talked about is, well, hold on a second. You know, you guys are looking for us to do a lot more than just listen to what you guys already have on paper. You want us to keep that thing going.
They wanted senators to pre-commit ourselves to not only judge the case that House Democrats are actually going to send over, but also to reopen the investigatory stage and maybe supplement Chairman Schiff's slapdash work.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen. Nor should it. You guys are going to send him over, then send it over. And then we'll go from there. And that's what eventually is going to happen. In the next day or so, tomorrow night is the debate. So they'll start talking, and they've already started discussing how they go about picking their managers for all of this. And then from there, they'll head on out and take it over to the Senate, and away it'll go. Away it'll go. As far as the witnesses and all that kind of stuff, look, they said if it was good enough for Clinton and the way that they went about doing things, which was send all the articles over. They voted 100-0 that these are the rules. The rules are we're going to look at all the articles. We're going to listen to what the managers have to say, what the attorneys have to say. Then we will decide from there if we're going to call more witnesses. They are not a jury as we would think of a jury, right? If you sit on a case, what do? You sit on a case. You're not going to cross-examine anybody. You're not going to go out and fact-find and or send people out to go out and investigate anymore. They are the searchers of truth, for a lack of a better term, in this day and age of politics. Would I like to see some more witnesses? Yes. I got no problem with that. I don't think it's going to change. Bolton can walk in there today, John or Michael, doesn't matter, and say Trump is dirty, he's all of these things that it's still not going to make or change anybody's mind. That's the reality of that.
Susan Collins, a Republican senator from Maine, told the Bangor News this week that she wants to hear from witnesses as well. Will that reach a critical mass? A lot will depend on what happens in the arguments in the trial going forward when it finally does start.
Yeah. So, look, people like Susan Collins who are in a battle, right? You're also going to have some Democrats who are going to be in a battle for their positions to hold on. They're going to feel a little bit different depending on what their district's like. She's in a very purple district. She's in a very purple state. Other people are going to be in purple states as well. Some are going to be in redder states. Some are going to be in bluer states. That's how it's going to determine who's going to allow what or want what or vote in a certain way. Not the truth, not any of the evidence. What's the best thing for me? What keeps my ass in a job? History may remember me a certain way, but history of today could remember you as somebody who got voted out. And we live in today. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Tomorrow night, debate going on. Cory Booker.
Today, I'm suspending my campaign for president with the same spirit with which it began.
Awful. Yeah, he's out. 6 will be in. Who? Well, you've got the usuals, right? You've got the Biden, who's very quiet, by the way. Biden is very quiet. You've got Warren and Sanders, who are feuding. You've got Buttigieg, who's been very quiet along the way as well. You've got Amy Klobuchar, who's been surprising. And you've got Tom Steyer. And that's it. Andrew Yang will not be there, so there's no Yang time. And this is what Andrew had to say about Iowa.
Screw Iowa, no, I'm kidding.
Screw Iowa. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with it. Screw it. Right now, and I was telling the guys this, think about this. And this is what I've said about Biden and his campaign. He's not going to get blown out anywhere. Okay, so he's going to finish at worst third, but the reality is a majority of the time he's going to finish first or second. Sanders could slip down to third or fourth. Warren, I think, will slip down at times to fourth or fifth. Biden will chug along. He's going to just keep doing his thing and doing his thing. I think he may win the first one. I think he'll come in second. So he may win Iowa, come in second in New Hampshire, and then it's on to South Carolinas and some of the South, and he's going to win. And Super Tuesday, he could put a fork in a lot of people, depending on what somebody like Bloomberg does, because he's still that kind of outsider with a chance to be a disruptor in this.
We're seeing busloads of volunteers coming in from around the country to knock on doors for him. The number of organizing events, satellite offices. Look, this is a team that's done this once before. The Bernie Sanders camp went through the caucus in 2016. So they came into 2020 knowing what it would take, and they're delivering.
Yeah. So, and then they're fighting over whether or not he is sending people out there to disparage and say horrible things and trash Elizabeth Warren. I don't think he is. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying I don't think he is. Don't think he is. I think he's doing his thing. He's going about his thing. But are they going out and getting tougher? Absolutely. Are they going out and throwing down? 110%. They're not taking any crap. They're coming hard. And they're saying what they think they need to say to get done. And this is one of the things that we've talked about, is how many of those people are Bernie supporters? If Biden wins the nomination, how many of them are going to follow? I don't know if a lot of them are going to follow. I think Bernie supporters are Bernie supporters, very much the way I feel about Trump supporters. Trump supporters are, now, within those, you have Democrats that will follow the Democrat and the Republican, but a good swath of those people are going to follow them alone. So what happens? Don't know. So February 3rd is the Iowa caucus. Then you've got the New Hampshire primary. Then you've got Tennessee, North Carolina, and Nevada caucuses. And it's just going to start rolling. And then you've got Super Tuesday, which will, in some people think, decide everything. But I look at this right here. Tennessee, go with Biden. North Carolina, Biden. Nevada's up in the air. Arkansas, probably Biden. Texas and Utah, I'd go with Biden. Right? I mean, South Carolina. I mean, you start looking at this, and I don't see where he is going to lose anything. The biggest thing that he may face is, what will that billionaire who said, I'm going to spend $1 billion, what is he going to do to be a huge disruptor that on Super Tuesday he could take enough away from Biden that it could be a contested convention? And I think that's what he's aiming for. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Super Beats. I'm going. So, starting a new schedule, doing a bunch of different things, up extremely early, for those of you not keeping score. Very early. Every once in a while I need a little boost in my energy. That's where Super Beats comes in. First of all, it's great for your heart, right? Just beats themselves are incredible. Now they got soft chews, convenience. I need it, love it. Supports normal blood pressure, circulation, natural energy in your body. And that's grapeseed extract, which is the brand new stuff in Super Beats. So you've got all of this stuff that's in it. Tastes great, and it's been clinically shown to support healthy blood pressure. Gotta love that. And for a little bit of energy, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Now's your chance to get Super Beats. And if you buy 2 bags, they're going to throw a third one in for free. So what I want you to do, check it out for yourself. Go to superbeatsradio.com/Chad. 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 What's trending? Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Trending indeed on the old interwebs. Let's start first and foremost in the magical world of Twitter. Abby Huntsman, she quit. She was on The View. We were talking earlier. Why isn't there a guy on The View? She's going to help work on her dad's campaign. He's a Republican, by the way, out of Utah. He's running to be his governor. LSU versus Clemson, trending big time everywhere. We'll touch on that because I'm going to give you a breakdown of the whole thing. Oscar nominations, big. today. Astros trending, and not in a good way. A lot of sports stuff. Some good, not so bad. The national championship game, NFL playoffs, totally good. Astros, massive hammer laid down by Major League Baseball, the firing of their manager and general manager. Antonio Brown, apparently he's done some other crazy stuff that included throwing adult gummies at the police. Solid individual. Oh, goodness. Head on over to the magical world of Google. Google's a little bit different. Again, a little bit more of what the globe is looking at, right? What they think is fun and is important. How about this? Tesla stock trending over $500 a share. What? Yeah. Kiki Watt trending. R&B singer. She gave birth to her 10th kid. Nikki Tutorials. Over 200,000 searches in the last little bit. It's a YouTuber who comes out as trans. You come out as trans, or would you just come out as the... So if you were a guy, you just come out as the girl. And if you're a girl, you just come out as the gentleman, if you will. And the Oscar nominations lead over 1 million plus searches. Joker leads 11 nominations there, including Best Picture and Best Actor. Tonight is the College Football Championship. You got the Tigers of LSU, they call them the Bayou Bengals, playing in New Orleans. So massive home field. Taking on the defending national champions, Clemson. Tigers of Louisiana, led by Joe Burrow, an amazing receiving corps, superstars everywhere. He's going to be the number one pick. He's going to be a Bengal next year, unless the Bengals are awful and do something stupid, which I wouldn't put it past. He will be the consensus number one, I would have to say. On the other side, you've got Trevor Lawrence, superstar quarterback, right? He looks like Thor. He's 6'6", 225 pounds. A beast, will be the number one quarterback next year, chosen in the NFL. In fact, he is so good. He's never lost a college game. He lost one high school game, I believe. And I think he's been behind in the second half only once in his college career. Clemson kind of sleepwalked. They didn't play great at the first 15, 20 minutes against Ohio State. They got it together, and everybody thought, Ohio State, you do the eyeball test. They're the best team out there. They just can't be beat. They're the best team. And sure enough, they got boat raced from about midway through the second quarter on. Then you move over tonight. You got a battle, and I just look at Clemson. They're undefeated. They haven't lost in like 2 years. They're the defending champions, and you got to hit. If you're going to hit the king, you got to kill the king. And so far, nobody's done that. And I don't think it's going to happen tonight. I'm going to give you my Chad's not so solid shot. High scoring game, fun game, but I see Clemson winning 45-38. Boom. Take it to the bank, mortgage your house. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter. Go and tell your wife, hey, I mortgaged the house. This guy on the radio totally says I should do this. Does this sound like something we should be doing? Totally. Big debate tomorrow night. 6 will enter and all 6 will leave. But somebody's going to start really pulling away here. And I want to see what happens with Biden. Does he say anything, or is he just stealth as can be? But remember this, tomorrow night, if you watch any of this debate, God bless you for that. But if you watch any of it, as this is all going on, think about this for a second. Picture each one of them up on a stage against Donald Trump. Something to think about. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
With the family feud playing out for the world to see, Queen Elizabeth stepping before the cameras ahead of crisis talks with Prince Charles, Prince William and Prince Harry to decide the future role of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Palace sources say Meghan, who returned to Canada to be with baby Archie, is expected to join by phone.
Yeah, so they had a big get-together, try to sort this thing out. It's a big deal. Right? He didn't want any part of this. He's, I want to get away. I don't want any part of this stuff. I'll take my wife. I love all the memes, though. I just saw a great one of Prince Harry, and then they've photoshopped Yoko Ono's face onto Meghan Markle's. Saw a meme this weekend. It's a picture of Yoko Ono says, "I broke up the Beatles," and it's a picture of Meghan Markle says, "Hold my beer."
It's clear that they really want to find a solution to this at pace. This is now being played out in the public domain. They want an answer quickly. However, there is also a real appreciation that implementing anything is likely to take a significant amount of time.
Isn't that weird? So wait, you don't want to do this anymore? Nah. All right. Well, what do you want to do? Well, we're going to go to Canada. We're going to live over there. Wait, what? Yeah, we're going to go to Canada. We're going to live over there. We're going to hang out there. And we're going to get some help for some other people who've been in an issue in a situation like this.
In terms of earning money, they'll be looking at the Obamas and how their life was for financial independence when they moved out of the White House through clever speaking engagements and maybe even a book. And that's how Harry and Meghan plan to make their money moving forward.
Yeah, so there you go. How hard does it take? It's a big deal. People are mad. They're mad at her. They're mad at her. They're like, she's doing this. But no, I mean, look, she is not one of them. She isn't. She's Yank, right? She's a person of color. She's not. She's got her own life. She was a star before. I mean, she's not one of them. And they look at him and they're like, you know. But the reality is, there's a lot that goes into it, right? And he still sees everything. Where it's like, I look at my mom, I don't want any part of this. Saw what happened to her. He was much closer than William was with mommy. And, you know, so apparently she signed a deal even before all this with Disney to do some voiceover stuff. And they were going to take that money and they were going to put it towards charities and stuff. That's what they do. Don't look at the Obamas. Go look at the Clintons. Set up a charity. Go give big speeches everywhere. Right? You can do some voice acting, and she'll eventually get back into acting. I bet you she does. Right? Do your stuff and just go about that way. But there's a very big thing, and she's just not one of them. She's not, right? She's the wrong side of the tracks, which happens to be an ocean. She's just not. It makes him feel uncomfortable. She doesn't want to play the game. When you become part of that, there's a game. When I worked in London for Talk Radio UK, way back in there, I'm dating myself. I'm going back to the early 90s, mid 90s kind of thing. And we had Sophie Reese, who was kind of she worked in the promotions business, if you will, you know, the media promotion side of things. And she would go about helping, you know, fledgling stars and big stars and things like that. And we brought her on as a media consultant. And at the time, and since then, she's now gone on to marry. So you've got, you know, Prince Charles and Prince Andrew, but there's also Prince Edward. And she was telling us about, because she was dating him at the time, it was really quiet, and the whole thing is completely manufactured. How they announce who you are, what you're doing, how they do everything in certain ways. And so when you get into that world, you are giving up a ton. And Prince Harry isn't a fan of that. Who would be? I mean, there's give and take. Some people say it'd be great. Everything is absolutely planned out from you. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Everywhere you go, what you look like, and by that I mean the stuff you wear, all of it is it's you're keeping up with the appearances. And he is much more rogue than William was. William knew what he was, right? He was going to be eventually king. It'll go to Pop, then it'll come to him. Once he had kids, boom, Harry kept going further and further down the ladder. Because it doesn't work that way. If Charles was king and then something happened to him, William would become the king. If something happened to him, his oldest son, George, would become king, not Harry. He likes doing his own thing. Got himself his own wife, living his own dream. Knock yourself out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. We sit here and get ready for this entire situation to take place with impeachment. You've got the big thing going on tomorrow night in Iowa. This is the last debate before Iowa caucuses, which is the 21 days from today. And now stuff's coming out that apparently Sanders has been saying some stuff, and it's kind of gotten ugly, and that in a private conversation with Elizabeth Warren, he told her that a woman can't win, which I think is baloney. A woman can win. Just the last woman that you guys nominated wasn't that woman. And so now it's getting ugly because she's accusing him of sending his operatives out, his field people, so when you go somewhere, you build this great ground game, this field game where you've got everybody in the field doing their thing. So you got this ground game is great. And they're sending people out there bad-mouthing her.
You have heard me give many speeches. Have I ever said one negative word about Elizabeth Warren?
No. But let me tell you, I've heard you give a lot of speeches, and they all kind of seem to be the same. But at the same time, I think he's also thinking about it. He's been through this. I don't think he's going to leave anything to chance. He wants this nomination. He wants to take Trump on. And I don't think he's willing to mess around.
I was disappointed to hear that Bernie is sending his volunteers out to trash me.
I don't know how real that is. I think, look. You go out, and I remember caucusing is totally different than the primaries where you can see people voting. It's a much different thing. But when you send somebody out, do you know everything they're going to say? No, their whole goal is to get you on their team. Let me tell you. And what are you doing first? Everybody that's going to vote for a Democrat, by and large, they don't care who the Democrat is. Right? They're going to vote for the Democrat. But before that person can run against Trump, they got to win this. So what do? You're going to send yourself out there. And what does trashing mean? That she's flip-flops on everything, that she used to be far more conservative, and at one time she was, on the other side, if you will. And they're going to throw everything out there. Because their whole thing is, we're trying to get our guy elected. And Bernie's people tend to be a little bit more angry. That's all I'm saying. They do. They tend to that's just me. Just me. A little bit more ferocious in the way that they act. Speaking of Bernie's people.
How the protest went today, is it everything you expected in terms of the call to action?
It just was a great turnout, and I think it's very important to give people a chance to connect with leaders in this movement to save our planet, and that's what Jane has done.
Some celebrities have made lifestyle changes to take on climate change. Are you doing anything personally to go green?
Well, I'm building a house that's completely off the grid, solar and geothermal. I don't drive, and I don't eat meat, so do those count? I guess they count, right?
I guess. I don't know. Do they count? Yeah, of course they count. I don't. So you're building how's the house being built? Is it magical? Did you plant something in the house crew? Is any of that stuff manufactured in any way, shape, or form? You don't eat meat? That's fine. A lot of people don't eat meat. I got no problem with people. Here's the thing. If you don't eat meat, great. If you do eat meat, great. You know what I don't want to hear? What you eat. If you're a vegetarian, you don't need to tell me all the time. If you're a meatitarian, you don't need to tell me all the time. You know what I care about when stuff's eating? I like the fact that in Australia, they're feeding all the animals that are stuck places, but are no longer in danger, but need food. And they're dropping tons of carrots and all kinds of food that they can get to these animals. That's interesting. You eating an Impossible Burger? Not so much. You eating a steak? Don't care. Unless that steak's super expensive, and we can talk about it. We'll talk about that. She's not finished, though.
And you're still on the Bernie support train?
More than ever. He's the strongest candidate for climate change. Strongest candidate in terms of climate emergency. And he's got the largest grassroots movement that deals with that, all the kids, people of color. And I think he stands the best chance to beat the man who will not be named that's in the office right now. And so, yes, I'm on my way tomorrow to New Hampshire.
Well, there you go. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow night to see how they battle it out. Because there's going to be some questions up there. It could get a little bit ugly. And at the end of the day, what is the goal? The goal is to win the nomination. You're not going to be elected president tomorrow, right? You've got to win the nomination. So how do you do it? You've got to show why you're different. And the one thing, whether you like him or not, is he's as real as it comes, right? I could say the same thing about he and Trump. You can hate Trump all you want, but you know what you get with Trump. Same thing with Bernie. You can dislike his views on everything. You can hate it, but you know what you get with Bernie. You absolutely do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can free to text me. You can tweet at me at Chad Benson Show. Your love, your hate, all of that stuff. I'm good with it. My pillow. This weekend, so nice. Chilled in my jacuzzi for a little bit, and I got out, and it was very relaxing. Just so cold outside, and it just had my pillow. Awesome towel, big. It's 30 by 56, and boom, I was dry within a minute. It's incredible. 5 different designer color choices, right? So you can choose. Big, 30 by 56, 16 by 30 hand towels, washcloths. And here's the other thing. Super absorbent, all of that stuff. And the reason's simple. It's because it's 100% USA cotton. And why does that matter? Well, let's just say you go buy some of these other ones supposed to be that way. They're not. They've got fillers and cheap softeners in there. It makes it feel like it really is. And you wash it a couple times, you realize these things suck. It's not that. My Pillow's incredible. They've got the best stuff around. And I'm telling you now, go look at that mattress topper. It's amazing. But these towels are incredible. And right now you could save big, 30% off. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com. There's a new radio listener special. You click on that, type in promo code Benson. That's mypillow.com. New radio listener special, promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975. Save big, 30% off, 60-day money-back guarantee. You will not be disappointed. Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Mohammed al-Shamrani appears to have acted alone when he shot and killed 3 sailors, but the FBI determined several of his classmates failed to report his concerning behavior. Other Saudi students engaged with extremist groups online, and still others were found to be in possession of child pornography. And all were told more than 20 Saudi military trainees will be expelled. And the Defense Department said it would enhance screening of foreigners who come in the future to the United States for training.
Yeah, and on top of that, William Barr's coming out today to talk about this. And remember, the Fort Hood shooting was a workplace violence. Barr today says
this was an act of terrorism.
There you go.
The evidence shows that the shooter was motivated by jihadist ideology.
Yep, all based on September 11th. So what comes of it? Well, they're going to expel the rest of, I guess, that are here, and we'll see what takes place in the future. Does it damage our relationship with Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia relationship's a weird one anyways. You look at Iran and you look at Saudi Arabia. It's the devil you do, right? Because we have a relationship with Saudi Arabia that goes back a long time. It's an uneasy relationship when you look at the way their human rights, how they violated that, just a lot of stuff that goes on there. Look at 9/11. Look at a lot of different things. At the same time, you look at the likes of Iran. The only thing that binds Saudi Arabia and us really together in so many ways is the untrust of Iran. And Iran and Saudi Arabia, let me tell you something. You think, everybody thinks that everybody hates Israel. No, Iran in that region, there's a fear factor there, and Saudi Arabia can't stand them in a way that not even they feel about the Israeli people and all of the stuff that goes on there in Palestine, all of that stuff. And that's real. So it is a weird relationship, right? It is a weird relationship. But this right here, it is what it is. Can't call it anything other than that. It's not workplace violence. It was terror. And away we go. Now what? Don't know. But I don't think it really strains our relationship because it's already a bizarre, weird relationship anyways. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. If you guys haven't heard, Oscar nominations came out. Some interesting ones, some ones not so interesting. Interesting one, this one.
Let me give you some really good advice. Be the rabbit. The humble bunny can outwit all of his enemies. He's brave and sneaky and strong. Be the rabbit.
Jojo! Are you alright, Jojo? Who are you talking to? Nobody.
Jojo Rabbit got 6. It's about a German boy, kind of lonely, right? And he discovers his single mom is hiding a Jewish girl in the attic, and they've got an imaginary friend, which is he's got his imaginary friend Adolf Hitler, and it's a weird kind of comedy thing, and that got 6 nominations. Scarlett Johansson got nominated as well. So, but nothing really crazy. Right, Joker got 11. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood got 10. The Irishman 10. 1917 got 10. The Joker, I think he's going to win Best Actor. But those 3, arguably, I mean, you look at that Joker, box office smash. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think it's the best movie that Quentin Tarantino, as far as dollars, has. The Irishman, not huge, but if you go look at Netflix, did pretty damn good. And then 1917 is just really now getting its feet underneath it, and I expect it to have a huge run. And the rest of them, Ford vs. Ferrari was okay, so it's. But oddly enough, a movie that I thought would do better, which is Knives Out, only got 1 nomination. Only 1 nomination, and that is for screenplay. Crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tomorrow night, the battle. What will happen? Will there be fireworks on the stage in Iowa? It's possible. It's absolutely possible. You can text the show. You can also check us out online. Go to the Facebook page, Chad Benson Show. You can also go to thechadshow.com. Check out right there where the podcast is available. This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Tonight, the Secretary of Defense appearing to contradict the Commander-in-Chief that a specific threat from Iran involved 4 U.S. embassies in the Middle East.
I didn't see one with regard to 4 embassies.
But Esper was careful not to directly undercut President Trump.
Not just the embassy in Baghdad.
What the president said was he believed that it probably and could have been attacks against additional embassies.
Yeah, it's the battle that's going on now. We got impeachment rolling around. We're getting things ready for that. And now they're trying to figure out, hey, did you really have something, or did you decide to do something because you had a chance to get this guy and nobody else did? Right? And people get mad at me. Oh, Chad, we got a bad... Look, I'm not saying he wasn't a bad guy. None of us are saying he's not a bad guy. But let's just remember, we have the separations of power. We have certain things that we should have to checks and balances when it comes to our leaders, and this is one of those things. Did he declare war? No, he did not. Did he use something that was put in place 17 years ago to say this is why I did this. He did. But do there need to be checks and balances? I absolutely think there absolutely must be checks and balances. I would like to know exactly what the deal is. How real was this? Right? Because we don't want our leaders taking people out on a whim. You know that, and I know that. This guy was a bad guy. Nobody is disputing that this guy's a bad guy. Nobody is saying any of those things. And unlike the crazy on the left or the crazy on the right, I'll give you the reality of it is, at the end of the day, if all that came out of it was a couple shells landing in a place where we knew they were going to land, and we got rid of a person who is arguably, or was arguably, the second or third most powerful man in the Middle East as far as influencing goes, maybe nobody else had as much influence as him, then it's a fair trade-off, but a lucky one. A lucky one. All this, while the craziness around impeachment still goes on, you've got all kinds of issues here. And their explanation was, well, we've got, the information. Can we see it? No, just trust us. No. I don't care who's president. There's no just trust anything. Trust but verify. Remember those words?
Esper, part of an administration effort to defend the strike as Democratic and Republican lawmakers question the evidence that the Trump administration has shared with Congress.
He is fudging the intelligence.
The congressional concern on Iran coming as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi prepares to send the articles of impeachment to the Senate this week.
We have confidence in our case.
When will that be? I still think it's going to be on, I'm thinking Wednesday, Thursday. It'll wander over there. So they'll have the managers of the articles, and then those articles will head on over, and then we'll go from there. And the question over the weekend is there more?
You said he's violating the Constitution again and again. Do you think it's possible that the House might have to file new articles of impeachment?
Well, let's just see what the Senate does. The ball will be in their court soon.
Yeah. So, and that's a question. But there's no doubt in my mind that as long as the House, the Democrats have, that if Trump wins another 4 years, that we'll be back here in 2 years doing something similar than what we have right now. And this battle will continue. I would not be surprised to see him impeached again. It's sad, but this is where we are on both parties. Both parties, it's very sad. Sad that the president feels like he can do some of the things that he does and thinks that there's no repercussions and people can't even question him. And sad that everybody out there on the left thinks that everything he does is evil and bad. It's just a bunch of crap. You know that and I know that. What are you guys doing outside of this? I'm curious. What are you guys doing outside of all of this, right? Look at the healthcare, immigration, all of these things. Because it does feel, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If you're honest with yourself, give me some great things that the Democrats have done. When they said they were going to get a hold of this and they were going to get some stuff done, tell me this. I'm not saying got passed. I mean, both parties pass a lot, and a lot of times it dies at the desk of, the likes of Mitch McConnell, and when the Democrats had it, it died there too. The fact is, when Paul Ryan was there, they passed a lot of stuff that went down there, and Mitch never even took it up. But it feels like this is all it's about. And perception for a lot of people is reality, and they'll remember stuff like that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. For those of you who do not know, today they rolled everything out when it comes to, yes, the Oscars. I did not get nominated. I did not get, I was looking and I have not seen one of these movies. Now, there's a few I will see. But I did not get nominated. But some also didn't get nominated who thought they were going to.
Are you in?
Jennifer Lopez, not in. Many thought she'd get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Hustlers. She's received a lot of award season attention so far, but she couldn't grab the big one.
Glad to meet you.
His Irishman co-stars Al Pacino and Joe Pesci got Best Supporting Actor nominations, but Robert De Niro couldn't score a Best Actor nod. Awkwafina won a Golden Globe for The Farewell, but no Oscar nom. Frozen 2 is the highest-grossing animated film of all time, but no nomination for Best Animated Feature.
I'm working on a novel.
And Little Women scored 6 nominations, including Best Picture, but no Best Director nod for Greta Gerwig.
Yeah. I have seen, so I was going through. So here's the list of stuff, right? You go and you start looking through. Here's the list, and you're like, I've seen none of these at all. Joker, I will see probably this week. 1917, I will see. I have not seen, there's just a ton of these things I have not seen. I'm like, it's crazy, right? You would start thinking to yourself, you've got to have seen some of these things. No, I've not seen any of these. I'm just crazy popcorn movie guy. I don't want to be, right? Every once in a while I want to see a movie that's a little bit more than that. But the reality is I go to movies and I just want 2 hours of mindless whatever so I can leave. The Irishman, haven't seen, but I will. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I probably will see. 1917, I will see. Probably in the next 10 days, I'll see all of those. Little Women, nope. Not going to see that. Marriage Story, nope. Jojo the Rabbit, I will see, but I'll wait till it comes out. Ford versus Ferrari, stuff like that. Parasite, which I think a lot of people think is going to win everything. But the Joker's the big one, and there's a scathing review about the Joker. I think it was on Slate. And it was interesting. I watched him last night. I don't know if you guys saw him. He was Joaquin Phoenix was on. He's an interesting character. He was on 60 Minutes, right? So it was just a very interesting, because they'd ask him questions like, "So how do you spend your day?" And he's like, "I don't want to talk about this crap." And he would start saying something. He goes, "Nobody cares. I don't want to talk about this." And they had to reshoot it over and over again. It was kind of funny to watch Anderson Cooper talk about the fact that, it's weird interviewing a guy, because when you're interviewing somebody, you're going to talk about yourself. And he would be like, "Well, I think I provide a service when it comes to, who cares? I don't care." He's kind of an odd bird. But this is what Slate said. The Joker is a movie for people who think that blood-splattered and dwarf jokes are daring and provocative, when in fact they're extremely tired. Joker is a movie for people who think that movies about class riot demonstrates actual class consciousness by a Hollywood studio, when in fact the movie is porn for viewers who get blank off squalor. Joker is for a movie who people think that are starving yourself, being a pain to your coworkers, and allegedly kicking a dumpster so hard you dislocate your knee are evidence of good acting. In fact, they are not. How do you really feel? I still think it's going to win. I think he'll win. I don't know if it will win, because I think the Parasite movie, which is a Korean movie, is going to win a lot of stuff. But I think he's going to win just because he kind of threw himself into it. He's America's version of Daniel Day-Lewis. Very much so. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Hope you had a good weekend. Watched a lot of football. Some surprises out there. Lamar Jackson is human. Pat Mahomes is not. Great weekend. Phil, what was your favorite game of the weekend?
The Chiefs game was really good. It certainly wasn't the Ravens game, I'll tell you that.
No, man, the Ravens, everybody thought they were just going to wander through, and here comes the Titans. They beat the week before the defending champs, the New England Patriots, and went in and to Baltimore. Everybody thought, well, this is going to be a weird game, and sure enough, it was. It was very weird. They kind of pulled out ahead. And it just never seemed like they had any answer. And it was crazy. Here's something weird. Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback of the Titans, the week before he threw for 75 yards. I think this past weekend he threw for 83 yards. I think he's got 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And they go about their business. So it'll be interesting. I think the Chiefs and San Francisco are head on for the Super Bowl clash. It's going to be huge. But we'll touch about that a little bit later. You can text the program as well. Check out the Instagram. Raycons. Love my Raycons. Whether I'm traveling, rocking out to music, playing soccer, whatever it is I'm doing, I've got my earbuds in, the best around, half the price, and in many cases, a third of the price of all of those other ones. You're going to pay for the name, but the quality's not going to be the same. They're new E25s, best ones yet. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, more compact design. What's that do? It gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. So whether you're taking calls, working out, whatever you're doing, you're going to hear the difference. Ray J's put this thing together in such a way that he wanted no dangling wires, no stems, and he wanted the audio quality to be good enough to make sure that the biggies like Snoop Dogg and Cardi B and many others would listen to it and go, yes, these things are amazing. You can save 15% right now. Get yours. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Hello? Is that Frank? Yes. Hi, Frank. This is Jimmy Hoffa. Glad to meet you. Glad to meet you, too, even if it's over the phone. Our friend speaks very highly of you. I heard you paint houses.
I heard you paint houses.
Yes, I do, sir.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Joker, 11 nominations. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 10. The Irishman, 10. Netflix led the way. Best Picture, Once Upon a Time, The Irishman, Parasite, 1917, Marriage Story, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Ford versus Ferrari. Let's go through and see how many I've seen. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nope. Irishman, nope. Parasite, nope. 1917, nope. Marriage Story, nope. Jojo the Rabbit, nope. Joker, nope. Little Women, nope. Ford, Ferrari, nope. But my predictions, my predictions will rock. And I bet you I get 75, 80% right. I bet you I do. I'm going to throw it out there. Say I bet you I do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us with all of this going on today. We forget that tomorrow we've got a big day. All right? Got a huge day. It's Iowa. It is 6 people taking the stage to battle royale themselves and to see who will win the nomination to face Trump next year. One of the people not going to be there is Cory Booker. He's out. And he decided today he'd had enough. Not a shocker. Here's the thing about Cory Booker. He just didn't resonate. I mean, that's the reality of all of this. He just didn't resonate at all with people.
Today, I'm suspending my campaign for president with the same spirit with which it began. It is my faith in us together as a nation, that we share common pain and common problems that can only be solved with a common purpose and a sense of common cause.
He just didn't resonate. And look, some people do, some people don't. The reality is the people I see out there, like Bernie, here's the thing about Bernie, right? So Bernie, it's a dead heat between Bernie and Biden. And Elizabeth Warren's all pissed off because apparently Bernie's people are going out and bad-mouthing her. But Bernie is rocking and rolling. He is, for whatever reason. He's kicking ass because he evokes emotion. That's a huge thing. Something about Bernie evokes emotion from a lot of people out there, and because of that, he's doing extremely well. And he's picking up steam. He's probably going to finish either first and second in both Iowa or New Hampshire. In fact, I think he's going to win New Hampshire. And at the same time, you look, when Bernie's people, they come hard. Elizabeth's mad because, he's talking bad about me. Well, that's the way this is. I've said it all along, and I'll continue to say it. When you go and look at somebody like Trump, when Trump ran to be the nominee, he didn't run to be president, he ran to be the nominee. He knew what he had to do. I got to take everybody else out here before I can even think about being president of the United States. And that's exactly what he did. Bernie has learned. And he's gone and he's taken people on and he's got a ton of people behind him. And the difference between him and Biden's crowd is they're enthusiastic. There's emotion there. The difference behind Biden's crowd and his is, while his crowd isn't emotional, they show up. They may not show up in the numbers of, hey, we're going to have 5,000 people here. Biden's going to have 1,500 people there. But the reality is those 5,000, maybe all 5,000 supporters that Bernie has in that area, Biden outside of there may have 20,000. They just had other things to do, right? They do. And they'll show up when they need to and vote. But I just feel like right now it is becoming a two-horse race, and it's not stopping. Right? I don't think that Bernie's going to fade. I think we know that. And I think Biden, well, you just don't know with Biden. But I don't think something about Elizabeth Warren. I think people are just, again, she's got her issues. And her issues are very similar to that of Pete Buttigieg, which is it seems to be white elitists really like them. Overeducated, white elitists, as some people say, but just very educated people who happen to be the color of skin, happens to be white, really like them. A lot of other people are kind of turned off by them. And you need everybody if you think you're going to beat Trump. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Talk a bit more about Iran, Trump. Somebody just texted in something about me being anti-Trump, because you know that's totally. It doesn't matter what I say. I'm anti this, I'm anti that. Heaven forbid you ask a question. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You have a brother in the 2nd Battalion.
Yes, sir. Is he alive?
And with your help, I'd like to keep it that way. But they're walking into a trap. Your orders are to deliver a message calling off tomorrow morning's attack. If you don't, we will lose 1,600 men. Your brother among them.
1917. Anthony, one of our producers here. My crack team. Who messes up what year it was actually filmed, which was this year, but what year it was actually supposedly fought in. He said he went this weekend. He's like, I'll have a ticket to see 2017. Don't mind him doing a little day drinking. That's nominated for Best Picture right there. Indeed. Best Actors, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, Adam Driver, Marriage Story, Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory, Jonathan Pryce, 2 popes, not 1, but 2 popes. Most people think it is Joaquin Phoenix, followed by Adam Driver, Leonardo DiCaprio, and, but still, I think Joaquin's going to win it because he threw so much into it. Feels like a Joaquin kind of way. Joaquin. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. With all this going on and this craziness here of Iran and what's happening over there, it's so funny because I said earlier, I think we have every right to ask questions about what's taking place. Somebody tweeted in, basically, were you anti-Obama? And I'm like, I'm not anti-anybody. By the way, I was never anti-Obama. I didn't agree with a lot of his stuff. I was never anti-anything, right? I'm not anti-Trump. I think it's fair to ask the questions about all of this, right? And the ever-changing, well, now the new thing is, who cares if it was an immediate threat on our embassies based on this person's history? Well, I think it's a fair question to ask. What do you mean? Who cares? Well, you're going out telling the world, just like the bunch of crap about the embassy that took place in Benghazi, and everybody's saying, well, it was started because of a movie. We do care. And if you're lying to us, and you've lied about a lot of crap, 90% of it, which you didn't even have to lie about because nobody really cared about, right? It's that old thing I keep saying about Trump is, he catches a fish. He tells you he caught a great white shark. He caught a shark. It wasn't a great white shark, but it doesn't matter because he feels like he has to tell you caught a... God, what was it this week? Did you see they tweeted something out about snowing in D.C.? Phil, did it snow over the weekend?
No, it did not. It was 60 degrees.
Yeah. And people are going, wait, what? What do you, like, they've got pictures of the snow falling, and people are like, it's 70 degrees this morning. Or, like, I was watching the Baltimore Ravens game, and they were like, it's pleasantly warm today. It was like, it topped out at like 66, and it's 60 degrees. And I'm like, that's not snow. Little things like that make people ask questions. That's all. And if you don't ask questions, you're fooling yourself. You absolutely need to ask questions.
I can reveal that I believe it would have been 4 embassies, and I think that probably Baghdad already started.
Again, all of it might be true, but when you come out and tell the world that, and then you come out and you tell even people in your own party that, and they're starting to question, well, wait a second here, look what you guys did. You basically kicked us out of here. You gave us 75 minutes. It doesn't feel like we're getting a straight answer. We should absolutely be asking questions. And you're not anti something if you're asking questions, right? That's the other thing. Just like when people say, "Oh, you're homophobic, or you're transphobic, or you're this phobic." You're not phobic of stuff. You're not anti anything. It's okay to have a different view. It's okay to have questions. It's amazing that people are terrified of questions. It is. Frank Rich, like Secession and a bunch of other stuff, Veep. He was on with Larry O'Donnell, and he said something very interesting. And I get this flavor from a lot of people when it comes to, even if I question something, what happens to me. And it's really interesting as he's talking about not only his supporters, but his supporters inside of the Republican Party.
Whoever goes to jail or doesn't go to jail, whatever crimes are found out now or in the course of a Trump presidency is nothing compared to what's been buried that none of us know about. And people are going to be turning over rocks for decades. People who support these kind of regimes, whether it be appeasement then or America First in the 30s, or Trump, which is, let's face it, a criminal presidency, however you want to slice it, there's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a stain.
Now, I'm sure people will look, but how much do we look, right? A lot of times once it's over, it's done with, we moved on. Even over this past week, not reported by people, but, they found nothing with Hillary, is what they're saying. And oh my God, it's a conspiracy. Just get over it. We're moving on. Do I think that he's the most criminal in history? No. I don't know anything about everything. I think that the left has overdone it. And I think the right has hidden a little bit too much. I think where you find somewhere in the truth, there was some stuff done that should make everybody worry a little bit. And at the same time, the left has just run around with hair on fire and demonized half of this country. And that's the reality of it, because we're all or nothing nowadays.
No, and here it is a cult because they absolutely, people who in some cases did have reputations that they've now destroyed, good reputations, have made fools of themselves for their dear leader. And the thing about cults is they always do come to an end. And the cult leader, whether it be the Reverend Moon, who was a Nixon supporter, or Jim Jones or whomever, Charlie Manson, they're never going to be reformed, and and that's certainly true of Trump. But the people who swirled around them and were taken in, they're going to pay a price, a human price and a reputational price forever.
No, I don't think they will. We don't live in that kind of world. We don't. We're not going to hold people. That's not going to happen. They would pay. And remember, every single person that supports Trump, that's up there fighting, whether it's impeachment or defending him in a lot of ways, they're doing it just as much for themselves as, quote unquote, for Trump. Well, they'll be remembered. No, they're not going to be remembered like you think they're going to be remembered. It's not going to happen. They would be asked out if they went against them. Their base would turn on them in a second. That's why when people talk about John Bolton, I was reminding somebody over the weekend about John Bolton. Remember this. Still conservative, still a Republican, if you will. He lives in that that world right there where he still likes to enjoy his life. He's got a pack. He wants to be able to, maneuver in and out of that world. And if he was to, quote unquote, be the smoking gun that they think he is, that could come back and haunt him forever. Now, if he's got something that's real, that's bad, he should absolutely come. Immediate history will not remember him kindly, but long-term history it might. That doesn't do him any good. But if he's got something that is absolutely the smoking gun that will absolutely take down the president because the president has done something so illegal that he must leave, just absolutely has to go, and there's just no way to defend it, then he needs to come forth. But if it's just, I'm going to throw something out there because I don't like him and he doesn't like me, and personally we've gone back and forth with each other, and while it's not, what wouldn't rise to the point where we're going to remove him, he knows. Hey, I live in this world, and this world is where I want to be, right? He's not done with his life. Not riding off into the sunset. He's set up a pack. He's got everything going. He wants to raise money. He wants to do certain things. Yeah, I don't think, that he's all that they think he's going to be as far as the smoking gun. And remember, in politics, everything is politics. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from all of you. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens. Fastest growing over 50 organization in the country. Fighting on your behalf for immigration reform that's common sense, Medicare. I mean, you name it, they're fighting on your behalf. How about this? Social Security. Here's a few of these things we don't talk about. Social Security. Everybody knows that Medicare and Social Security are struggling financially, and that if things aren't done to reform it in a real way, it could be insolvent within a decade. Some say even sooner. They're out there fighting on your behalf to make sure that doesn't happen. On top of that, they offer amazing, amazing deals. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts across the board. This membership is more than just a group fighting for you. It's also a group making sure that you have everything you need when you travel, whether you're looking for insurance, whatever it is. Right now, you can join for free. That's right, free. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad, or call 888-355-1617. It's 888-355-1617 or amac.us/Chad. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me, Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Fui.
Fui, fui, and double fui.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Fui to families too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Duh.
Nominated for 11 Academy Awards, highest grossing R-rated movie in the history of movies. Academy Awards, 92nd Annual Academy Awards nominated today. Joker grabbed 11. Once Upon a Time, Hollywood, The Irishman, Paris, 1917, all grabbed 10. And then it's kind of just a few here and there. I think he's going to win it. I do. And over the weekend, 1917 expanded after its big wins, the Golden Globes. It expanded nationwide where it wasn't just in a few theaters, and it was in 10.
A big victory for war movie 1917.
That is the German front line.
The World War I drama topped the box office with a bigger-than-expected opening weekend and estimated $36.5 million. This after its big win for Best Drama at the Golden Globes a week ago. It knocked Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker out of the top spot for the first time. On the other end of the spectrum, what is that? The scary deep-sea thriller Underwater bombed just $7 million, not even in the top 5. The Tiffany Haddish comedy Like a Boss also disappointed with just $10 million, tied with the Michael B. Jordan death row drama Just Mercy.
Yeah, so it was an interesting weekend, and this is one of those movies, 1917. Adults will like it, a younger generation will like it. It'll get great press along the way because it's a hell of a movie. I was watching today, I think it was Screen Cuts or something, like one of these things on YouTube that has the behind the scenes, and watching the way that it was filmed, it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing, and it's just incredible the way that they went about doing it, and I think it's going to take a lot. I don't think it'll win the acting awards because not really, any of them are stars. That doesn't mean that they can't win, but, this was about the movie, the story, and the cinematography, which was the one shot. That's the way they worked it. It's a one shot. That's the way it was. They take it in one shot, and the way that they filmed it, they would come back and do it again because somebody would forget something, or a button would be out of place, and they'd have to do the whole thing over again. Couldn't just do that thing. It's not like a movie where you shoot it in bits and pieces. It was just like one long flowing thing. Although Anthony said it made him a little seasick. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I want everybody to tell me where the obscenity is in this.
So excited. I've been waiting for this. I've been stalking Burger King. The Impossible Whopper is now available in New York City.
Yes, but no. The Impossible Whopper is going nationwide.
Damn, that's good. You can taste the flame grow. It's perfect.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
This is incredible. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yes, the Impossible Whopper is now available nationwide. You too can go to any Burger King near you and try the Impossible Whopper with a patty made from plants, no beef.
Damn is the D word. Damn. Damn. That's right. Conservative groups, 1 Million Moms, is upset the word damn is in their new Impossible Whopper commercial. Whopper. I liked it. It was good. Was it great? I don't know. It's a burger. But apparently they're offended by the D word. Damn. Like when I first saw that, I'm like, what are they saying there? They're dropping the Richard word on a commercial? No way. But 1 Million Moms finds the highly inappropriate word being used when responding to the taste test. Someone said he didn't have to curse. It was an unscripted interview. It's not an actor. And then they said, well, Burger King could have edited out the profanity. It's the word damn. Get over yourself. Right? I know. Chad, you shouldn't be. No, I mean, just, it's, I really thought it was something crazy. I'm like, God, what do they say in this? Is there, because, when they do those things, I'm like, did somebody let something sneak through and it landed on there? Because every once in a while you'll be listening to a song on the radio, every once in a great while, and you'll hear a bad word, and you're like, oh, my God, I can't believe that. Like somebody didn't catch that? Or they thought it was a clean edit? No, it was damn. And you're just like, really? That's what you guys are upset about? Damn. So I don't know what they're going to do. Burger King's got to be smiling, though, because people are talking about it on a Monday. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I love hearing from you. Dr. Oz, speaking of food.
First things I'm going to do is ban breakfast. I don't think we need to eat breakfast. That's an advertising ploy that most people...
What? I thought we needed our 3 basic meals. I go by the food pyramid, Oz.
Unfortunately, a lot of the dogma we were fed for decades came out of advertisements. It wasn't really based on the truth around our health. The smartest thing for us to do is cancel breakfast, have your first meal when you're actually hungry. Cancel breakfast, have brunch every day of the week.
Yeah, cancel breakfast. So all you guys got to do is cancel breakfast. Now, this is really big right now, which is the intermediate fasting, where you eat within an 8-hour window, and then 16 hours you kind of don't eat, right? You can consume water and tea and stuff like that. So that means, like, let's say you eat noon to 8, right? So you're not going to eat till noon the next day. And some people have gotten it down to where they're eating only 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, and you consume all of your calories in there. And the thought process is it speeds up your metabolism. So when you're ready to eat again, your metabolism's rocking and rolling. It's weird, though, because, like, I have this weird schedule, and it's about to get weirder starting next week, and I wouldn't even so my breakfast for me, if I banned it still, I'd be eating at 9 in the morning would be my breakfast because I'd have been up for 7 or 8 hours. So I guess I would eat it 2 the next day. Weird. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check out the Instagram and the ChadShow.com. Grab your podcast there, kids. This is Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show.